The critically acclaimed series Severance has turned Adam Scott from a working actor into a star, a transformation that Conor Knighton tells us has been decades in the making.
Wait a minute. Were you that guy?
Yes, I was.
You weren't!
Adam Scott was once a solid that guy. A steadily working actor you might remember from any number of roles. He's been active since the early 90s, playing everything from Howard Hughes' press agent in The Aviator.
Thelma, this is Howard Hughes. Howard and I were just discussing how he wants me to pull a camera out of my ass.
To a pompous jerk in the film Step Brothers.
They are what's called a trophy fish. So, yeah, they're pretty big.
He's acted in large ensemble television shows like Party Down and Parks and Recreation. But in 2022, when ads started popping up for a new Apple TV Plus show called Severance, with his face front and center, it was a new experience for Scott.
It was terrifying, like truly. It was something that, you know, as an actor, it's something you wait your entire career for, your entire life for. But when it happened, I was immediately terrified and didn't quite know why. You know, I guess I was afraid that it was just going to end up being embarrassing and people were going to make fun of us and make fun of me.
Quite the opposite. Severance ended up becoming a critically acclaimed hit. The show's second season is nominated for more Emmys than any other show this year, 27 in total, including Outstanding Drama Series and a Lead Actor nomination for Scott.
Which is why what you're asking scares me. No, because whatever this life is, it's all we have, and we don't want it to end.
Scott's character Mark works for a mysterious, seemingly sinister corporation. When he's off the clock, he has no memory of his work life. He's a severed employee. A device in his brain separates his office self from his home self. A lot of people relate to Severance because of that sentiment of like, wouldn't it be nice to turn your brain off from 9 to 5 and not do my mind-numbing job? Sounds like you never really had a job like that, though. How do you tap into that?
It's funny because the things that ended up really sort of making a difference in my career were like Parks and Rec and Party Down and Severance. They are largely shows that are about work. And these are jobs that I've never actually had to participate in real life, because I was always in a play or doing, you know, a guest spot on NYPD Blue or whatever. I guess I relate to these kind of feelings that these characters have because it's been sort of this long path for me in show business.
Scott's path began in his hometown of Santa Cruz, California, where he'd spend hours in his room watching and imitating actors he saw on David Letterman. Were you looking at that thinking, oh, I might like to do that professionally? Did that even cross your mind?
100%. In fact, I used to practice on my bed. I would set it up like a couch and I would practice being on David Letterman. I remember I had a project that I would pretend I was promoting where Harrison Ford and I were playing father and son cops. I'm sure I just looked like an insane person.
For what it's worth, I would watch that today. It's not too late to make that show.
I know, it sounds great.
After some success in high school plays, Scott moved to Pasadena to attend the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, where he started thinking that Adam Scott didn't sound dramatic enough.
When I was in theater school, I really fancied myself as a very serious actor in the vein of Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. In fact, at one point, I wanted to change my last name to Cordero. I remember writing on a piece of paper, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Adam Cordero. My mother's maiden name was Corderaro.
Hi. Scott stuck with his last name, and after graduation, stuck it out through the highs and lows of building an acting career.
One thing I always felt that I knew about myself is that I was never going to leave. I didn't have any other options, but I knew that I was just going to stick around until something happened, something came together for me.
So this is the same lot that Parks and Rec shot on?
Yeah, we shot just over that way, over the bridge.
Scott's 5 seasons on the NBC sitcom Parks and Recreation took his career to the next level.
Please, just tell me what you want me to do.
Although, it came with an unexpected downside. Now that he was so well known for comedy, it was harder to get dramatic roles.
Okay, that was fine.
He'd done, work that was dramatic before. It just wasn't things that, people really hadn't seen as much of as his comedy work.
Ben Stiller, one of the executive producers and primary director of Severance, believes Scott had the skills necessary to play what's essentially 2 roles, or at least 2 parts of the same person, sometimes transitioning between his severed personalities in a single shot.
The key to the effect working really is Adam's change of expression and just how good he is as an actor technically. He has to get that timing right of the change with the camera effect. So it's not easy to do. He can take a note and just, adjust something, minimally that very few actors I've worked with can do as well as him.
It seems like you saw that potential early on. Was it a tough sell for the studio to have him front the show?
They had a different idea in the beginning, but I said, look, Adam to me is I think he's the guy.
It's clear fans agree. As part of Apple's massive marketing push for Severance, viewers were invited to an event at the historic former Bell Labs building in Holmdel, New Jersey, which stands in as the headquarters of the fictional Lumen Industries on the show.
Can you sign my Lumen tag?
Yes, I can. Seeing the photos of this place, of the Bell Labs building, it started dawning on me just the scale of the show.
Yeah.
And what it was exactly that Ben had in mind.
So this is when we're kind of diving back into making the show.
Outside of Severance, Scott's work life and home life revolve around his wife Naomi. They produce podcasts, films, and TV shows together. They met in the late 90s, which means she's seen him through a number of career ups and downs.
I kind of learned that there was a cycle of him, picking himself up off the ground. And I did know how to nurture and encourage that. That I knew how to do. But it was hard to watch.
What's it been like to see people finally see what you've been seeing for all these years?
Oh, it's very vindicating. I knew it. It's great. I love it.
And once my wife is free, I swear I will finish the process.
Adam Scott had to audition for Severance and fight for the role. Now, with season 3 already in the works, the actor who always knew he was in it for the long haul is finally getting his due.
There's not some bank of Hollywood where they look and they're like, well, he made 30 years of deposits, so finally he gets to cash it in.
No, there's absolutely, you're entitled to nothing in show business, and I knew that. But I also knew that there was something I could bring to it that nobody else could, and I knew that I would have to give all of myself to it in order to pull it off. I would have to use absolutely everything I've learned over 30 years if I was going to do it right. And so when I was lucky enough to get the job, that's exactly what I did.